The Las Vegas Grand Prix is finally upon us. The much anticipated event is finally here. We're heading to the Sin City for what should be a spectacular event. The build-up starts early this time round, isn't it? On a Wednesday there's an opening ceremony, many star-studded guests, and then even before the race starts there's about 10 or 11 artists going to perform a 30-minute ceremony before race gets underway. What was that noise? Did you just press the subscribe button? Oh, it wasn't you. Guys, I'd massively appreciate if you can ring the bell and subscribe to this channel. I'm well on my way to 1,000 subs. Any support is massively appreciated. And that's enough of that. On to the next point. The circuit, let's get to it. It actually looks like an upside down pig, doesn't it? After 30 iterations, yeah, the pig was chosen to be the circuit. It's mainly pretty much a flat circuit considering it's taken place around the city. The big star of this is the long 2-kilometer straight, isn't it? Down the Vegas Strip. Where we should see some overtaking down into the final corner of that. Sadly enough though, there's no grandstand at that spot, so a lot of the supporters might miss some like a crucial part of the action down there, so be interesting to see how that one pans out. We've got this surprising and strange sphere dome shape, which is a massive set of LEDs which will stream a load of media stuff off it. Strangely enough though, someone beat Formula 1 off that, rented it, and as you can see, Red Bull Cheats was roaming around that. Now I don't know if this is an actual something that actually happened or if someone just blagged this one up, but yeah, cannot confirm or deny that one. But yeah, interesting. The start line and the actual grid is formed on the bend, which is going to be a bit unique considering we've got some massive long straights where they could have put that, but yeah, it's going to go round into the first hoof of this pig, and then as they make their way around, they've got 2 DRS zones. The first just after that, after the start line, first set of bends, and there's one long DRS there, and then the second just about a quarter of the way down the Vegas Strip, where we should see another DRS zone. Now there's some nice details gone on here, haven't they? The curbs will have got card suits on them, and that's each and every one of the curbs around the Vegas Strip. Vegas obviously famous for the card games, and I actually really like that touch. They probably yeah, the best curbs on the calendar, haven't they? They've done, you know, the City of Entertainment. Finally, Formula 1 is arriving. It should deliver over 50 laps. It's high speed, high action here, really. The car's hitting 342 kilometers with an average speed of 237. So matching, or not far off the circuit speed Monza, and we should see sort of Monza and Spa low downforce levels on the car here for this weekend. Yeah, F1's going all out for this one. Since it's announced, you know, they were really building it up, but there's been quite a bit of drama, negative drama towards the Grand Prix, especially from some of the locals, because when they sort of first got the Grand Prix they were massively excited but not really aware of what would logistically be involved with having a Grand Prix. Now they've had to just endure months and months of roadworks. They've resurfaced much of the area. The track surface itself is brand new, newly laid for this weekend, and even all the road blockages, the new grandstands going up. Yeah, a lot of people unhappy with all that. Will they have again the same next year? I mean, if the event isn't or doesn't run as smoothly as F1 hoped, you know, there are some doubts of will this happen again going into the future. But as a one-off, let's just enjoy it as it is. It should be spectacular. Now the tyres, Pirelli are bringing their softest in the range for this weekend, the C3, 4 and 5. Now the big issue that they're going to have here, and getting on to the weather, is going to be the cold weather. Now on Friday there is some potential for rain, but other than that it should be dry, but it's a night race. Now in the desert you'd normally assume it would be hot, but actually it's going to be in the low low degrees, really, like 5 to 10 degrees at night. So watch everybody having like massive hats and puffer jackets as they walk around, and it's something that actually surprisingly the Formula One setup as a whole didn't really consider when going for the night race. Obviously they wanted it with all the spectacular lights around Vegas. It's a midnight start for the race on Sunday there, or Saturday night actually, Sunday morning for us here in the UK. But yeah, the really big unknown, and taking a lot of the teams really working hard on this, is the temperature, and the crucial with the tyres is to try and get them up to working operating temperature. Now this could work out, or the teams that are really soft on their tyres and run really well might struggle, especially in qualifying. We should see, you know, I'm expecting potentially Ferrari being on pole here because they've been so good on their tyres, getting them up into the operating window, and so this kind of might suit them down to the ground. Red Bull, obviously we all know how great they are on the tyres, but getting the warm-up right is something that they might struggle with come qualifying, and even at the early parts of the race. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out in terms of all of that, because yeah, it could be the coldest race in Formula One history. These cars or tracks that we normally go to aren't ever this cold, so yeah, massive thing to deal with for all the teams. If you go down all the teams, the biggest issue that they are saying is it's going to be really cold, and trying to get the cars to operate in that wind temperature window, you know, will be interesting. For the race, the podium predictions, well, I'm going to go for Lando Norris to get his first win, and what a place for him to do. It would be absolutely fantastic for him to get that in Vegas. I'm sure it would be something he'll never ever forget. For second place, I'm going for Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. I'm expecting them to do well here. The colder temperatures and them getting their tyres up to operating temperature should really work really well for them. They've been one of the teams that have been hardest on their tyres out of the front three anyway, so kind of hoping that that would really come to them this race. And for third place, I'm kind of going for Lewis Hamilton, surprisingly, after a horrific Grand Prix last time out in Brazil. I'm expecting them to put things right here in Las Vegas. Now, the surprise performer, I'm going for Alex Albon in the Williams. Now, these massive long straights should really suit them well, and the lower downforce setups that they've had. You know, they did really well in Italy and in Spa. So, yeah, I'm going for Alex Albon to be the surprise performer in that, and much needed there for them. With only one race left after Vegas, you know, they need some points to hold on to that P7 in the Constructors' Championship for them. Some of the latest news: Ferrari are bringing a special livery for this weekend. It's a throwback to the 70s for them, where it was one of their golden eras, wasn't it? And actually, I've got to say, I really like it. Is it as nice as what we've seen in Monza with the red and yellow? I'm not sure, because for me that was absolutely magnificent, but it does look really nice, this red and white Ferrari. But yeah, it'd be nice to see how that looks out on track. In other news as well, the Haas team, who actually contested the US Grand Prix results due to the number of track limit violations not being penalised. Well, that hearing failed because the steward said, actually, you didn't bring us any evidence that we can consider that was absolutely new to them and wasn't available to them at the time of the race. Now, for me, I think the wording of this is quite difficult it's quite a steep hurdle for teams to come at them with something new that wasn't available to them at the time. The way they've worded that to make a challenge, it's quite a big hurdle for jump, and you know, many teams have tried it but have failed just even to try and get into that, past that first stage of a right to review. But the stewards did say that they strongly recommend that the track limit enforced is massively improved going forward. They strongly recommend that the FIA look into that, because it's actually almost impossible for the stewards to sit there, you know, and hours after the race to then hand out these penalties, because the last thing that Formula One needs and the FIA want is almost to say, yes, so-and-so won the race, but about 10 hours later say, actually, he got 10 track limit violations, and off he went to the back of the grid. And to be fair, we've seen that before, haven't we, where much later we've got all these penalties being handed out, and you know, it was just a bit out of control. So the steward have sort of said to the FIA, look, this really needs to be sorted out. There needs to be an improved method of enforcing track limits, and let's see what they can come up with on that front. But yeah, that's it. We're heading to Vegas. It should be a fantastic venue. I'm looking forward to it, actually, because it'll be interesting to see how this new circuit runs. It's going to be a brand new track surface, so actually all the teams will be just like, they can all they can really do is run the simulators, but actually when you get out there it can be a completely different story. New track surface, you know, this cold temperature, how will the cars perform getting the tyres up to scratch, and I imagine with that we potentially could see some fair bit of incidents, won't we, because cars struggling to get any grip in the tyres, snaking around, and I'm expecting a fair few crashes here this weekend. There's not many runoff zones, it's a lot of walls all around Vegas, so expecting some biggies, to be fair. Let's see how it pans out. It should be interesting, to say the least. It's an early morning start for us boys here in the UK and girls, but yeah, can't wait for the action to get going. Watch out for the qualifying review Saturday and Sunday morning for the race review. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. I'll see you next time.